Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Featuring today a 1 versus 1 on Semois. Yes, indeed, Semois shall be where the fighting takes place. We shall be watching Quang fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the elite Panzerlehr. Opposing him, well, not Panzerlehr actually, let's just say First SS Panzer Division. Opposing him shall be Pivavsky, fighting for the Americans, taking on the good fight for the 3rd Infantry Division. So this should be interesting. We are seeing a standard start going up from Pivavsky, 2 engineers, barracks, riflemen. Opposing him, Quang also going up with a standard start. That is 2 pioneers, Wehrmacht quarters. So hurrah, huzzah on that angle. Of course, we'll have to see how that one develops. Interesting enough, he ignores, in fact, both players are ignoring the munitions right next to the bases. In fact, focusing, getting straight into the central area, the central sector, if you will. This is definitely a bit... well, it's not what you see quite so often. So this is interesting, of course. They clearly want to get into the more tastier resources deeper into the map in some cases, but I mean... usually you'd see, one engineer pioneer heading over there, and then you'd see either Volksguys and riflemen, then connecting up the strategic point right there. But we do see that Quang is not intending on getting some infantry out first. He is starting out with the MG42 crew, moving forwards for the fatherland. And meanwhile, Pivavsky's riflemen advancing for Uncle Sam, taking the road through the ditches, except for 2 guys who don't want to get their feet wet, apparently. MG42 is advancing up, getting into the church. So Quang clearly setting up shop in the middle of town, setting up his MG42 inside the church. Hiding up there in the church loft. Pioneers heading westwards, securing the center, whereas Pivavsky is focusing much more heavily on the right-hand side. Might even go straight for the fuel point, which would definitely be a very aggressive move, but also be one that could actually work out quite nicely since Quang is completely unprepared for it. In fact, he's going for a pretty MG-heavy start, so clearly Quang is actually intending to stall for time, hold territory, and be a bit defensive. These are clearly not the most elite SS Panzer Grenadiers from the 1st SS that Quang has been in command of. Engineers sneaking in from the north, riflemen sneaking in from the west, engaging the pioneers right there, forcing them back towards the church. MG might be making a run for this, how to take up a dominating position. Looks like Quang might be trying to establish a front line that runs from the village towards the west, hoping the MGs can cover everything, which they can't. By the way, usually want barbed wire, mines, infantry and all that to sort of supplement machine gun positions. Machine gun nests, if you will. Right here, they're getting stopped by the MG in the church. Getting shot at quite a bit already there. Pivavsky is losing men. Several men, in fact. Fuel point going to fall right there. We do finally see some Volksguys going up, and at the same time we see that Pivavsky is going for the fuel of Quang. Quang's response so far is not there. Quang pushes onwards. He's yet to secure the high munitions and the victory point right there. Quang seems a bit curious in that sense. Pioneers and engineers fighting around the house on the small island in the south. Pivavsky pushing in further infantry. And there we go. Fuel right next to Quang's base has been rendered neutral, meaning he won't be getting any more. And already looks like he could be teching up, which would be pretty damn early. This is some unorthodox play here, at least for what you usually expect. Definitely a bit of a curious opponent that Pivavsky has managed to broil up here. Pioneers running into a bit of problem. Rifleman holding up there, taking a few shots and getting caught right in front of the house. He's of course going to move in to try and get the advantage, but at the same time he's moving in towards the broader side of the house where there are most windows. And there we go, the rifleman actually taking heavy damage, since the Volksguys inside the house do receive several bonuses in terms of being harder to kill and whatnot. So the rifleman right here, in fact, losing pretty gravely. Rifleman squad moving in from the fuel point area, going to engage right here, though they are not really going to be able to take up positions that provide full protection, so they will be a bit exposed there. And already another rifleman drops right here. The Volksguys inside the house, in fact, are doing quite well against Pivavsky. At the same time, another push towards the central victory point fails for Pivavsky, as the MG42 still remains. Fuel point finally being retaken. That was definitely not well handled by Quang. The force going to continue to fight within the premises of the house, although it looks like parts of it are already a bit damaged. Pivavsky continues to push in infantry. He seems unaware of the fact that Quang is apparently rushing towards Tier 2, a Krieg barracks rush, which is a bit unusual. In fact, this is an incredibly light Tier 2, and clearly it is a Tier 2 intended towards stalling for time. But not very strong towards it. I mean, there's no barbed wire, no mines, no anything to sort of buff up these positions, and they will need it. Otherwise, Pivavsky basically just needs to launch an attack from a few angles, get up some grenades, and he can basically clear up those MG nests, well, pretty quickly. So that's definitely something that could easily end up being a threat to Quang and the 1st SS right there. Kriegbergs is up and at work. And what shall Pivavsky go for next? I wonder. We have the fuel point. Fuel point secure there again. Pivavsky making another push for the fuel. Kriegberg's going out for Quang. Pioneers here going to be running into some issues, some problems, some difficulties. And there you go, 1st Grenadier squad out for Quang. And meanwhile, the Pioneers are getting rushed by engineers with flamethrowers and riflemen galore. Could definitely prove to be a problem. Of course, could be the sort of force that could overwhelm this as long as Pivavsky ensures that he spreads them out sufficiently, so that one force can actually flank the MG nest. But we also see infantry now moving up for Quang, and of course he's seen what's going on up here, so he could very well be sending in his infantry to counter such a move before there's any chance to really do a lot of damage. Also, we see mines going down, so obviously... No, that was the engineers. I thought it might have been the riflemen. And it looks like he's also preparing for an assault on the center. Excellent. Actually, that's a really good move by Pivavsky. I mean, he's not just launching one assault, he's launching 2 assaults at the same time. 2 flank assaults, pretty much the exact same force. And the way that Quang's force is currently composed, he can only stop one of them. So ultimately, Pivavsky is guaranteed one of the assaults succeed. In this case, it is the center one, allowing Pivavsky to extend his front line in a manner that's more useful to him, and even does some damage here to the MD crew. At the same time, this MD is going to get pushed off, and Pivavsky has secured the center. So that was a nice move right there by Pivavsky, and definitely taking advantage of the fact that Quang has a very weak force initially again, taking up very fast and not having an awful lot of infantry. So of course now he's going to be forced to send troops down there to deal with that, and that MG will need to get pulled back since it's down to 1 man. That's not going to last another of these sorts of assaults. And Pivavsky swift to mine. Excellent. Veterans run up for the German infantry already. Engineers running into a bit of a problem. Pivavsky might want to retreat, and there we go. Oh dear, retreating right past. Grenade going in. I think that was a bit of an optimistic grenade throw. Mildly put. German troops bring in, going to try and flank, of course, into the market square. Instead, they hit a mine. Volkskreis and Grenadiers immediately take losses, get suppressed, take hits. At the same time, Pioneers bring in through the south, and looks... He's getting 3 Pioneer squads now. That's a bit peculiar. And MD-42 reinforced, and more Grenadiers moving out. BARs pop up for Pivavsky at the same time, unleashing death upon the German troops captured by the small choke point by the market square. Up through the house. Volkskreis make a run into the house. They're still in a decent condition, although heavily wounded. More infantry will be needed soon, and there we go. The MD-42 will likely also need to be set up. Mine went off down there, nicely down there again. Mines win wars, or at least battles. And there we go, Riflemen now coming under intense fire from most conceivable angles. At the same time, another assault going in, and there we go. The MG was in poor condition, and it did not take much for it to fall under a second assault. So definitely poor mining by Quang, and again, he should have either had mines or barbed wire up there, but again, Quang seems to have a bit of difficult understanding the concept of establishing a front line. Instead, he opted for some outposts, which he did not even reinforce. And certainly the outpost concept was something the Germans was rather fond of, because they knew they couldn't handle anything, but they usually also do something to fortify those outposts. And that's where Quang failed. He did not fortify them, he did not add to them, he did not lay down barbed wire, mines, tank traps, nor even any infantry to support them. So they were pretty weak outposts, and as Pivavsky demonstrated here, very easily taken care of, if not the first time around, then the second. So solidly handled there by Pivavsky. Good job in showing a player how to flank and, of course, clear out MG nests on their own.
We're losing a point out there.
Grenadiers here coming under fire. MG42 opening up on the rifleman from inside the church. Grenade going in against the rifleman, and oh, nasty hit right there. Does some terrible wounding, and actually causes Pivavsky quite a few casualties. Grenadiers pushing on though. Quang clearly intending to rely heavily on Grenadiers, which is not necessarily a bad idea, but would then also argue he should then consider at least also getting a medic banker so to help with attrition and further enforce or reinforce the concept. Engineer squad getting pushed off there. Grenadiers and riflemen continue to fight up here. All the riflemen's cover is slowly getting ruined as the barrels crumple under German grenade and rifle fire. And there we go, the riflemen get pushed off. At the same time, though, Pivavsky is on the ball, harassing, hitting other flanks, ensuring he's not just fighting in one spot all the time, but has several things going on there. Minor raids, minor assault, harassment, small engagements, forcing Quang to spread out or lose most of the map. Really nice there. Supply out going up for Pivavsky and the 3rd Infantry. But let's go look at Quang of the 1st SS Leibstandarte. Volksgun is reinforcing. Sturm Armory going up at the same time as the supply out. Mines going down there from Pivavsky, so he has now gone infantry, and we are seeing Terror Doctrine up, and we are seeing Inspired Assault. Wir werden die beste Armee in der Welt. Sadly, the loudspeaker voice, which, you know, appears when you use this ability when you're playing the game, does not appear here, because, and I absolutely love it. It's rather one of the reasons this is actually called the Propagandacast, because, again, I really like that speaker voice. So, utterly fanatical. And note here, he's getting another MG, but again, now he's setting it up there, and, I mean, that one is poorly positioned. And I'll just briefly pause. I mean, usually if I want to actually place an MG42 right here in a house, I actually use this building. Why? Because it can cover this area, it can cover this area, it can cover this area, and it's also much easier to secure a bit of barbed wire here, 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 and some mines. I mean, and here for that matter. I mean, it can actually become a very strong fortification in this house compared to the church, which is a bit trickier to sort of protect. Plus, that way you also risk blocking up your own lines of movement. But again, this one, again, you can fortify it without necessarily making it more difficult for you to move about. So it's a bit weird that he instead chooses to put MGs in here, and here again, Quang seems to be having a hard time understanding the concept of establishing a front line, which is a bit of a shame. But returning to the fight with the vigor and with attention, we do see the rifle getting pushed up, and again running straight into the MG40. I mean, this one's alright, but again, this one is just oddly and awkwardly placed. My apologies for the technical difficulties that do seem to be cropping up a bit. And Pivavsky making a push in from there as well. Assault phase complete. Grenades getting locked there. Definitely Quang is very aggressive with this. And do see the rifleman actually could be in a bit of trouble as Grenadiers, MG and MP40 equipped Volksguns push in. And artillery going in, straight on the infantry position in the cemetery. Volksguns are not moving, come on! And nice artillery strike right there on the German infantry, causing Quang quite a few kills, or losses. My apologies again for the difficulties with fraps, sometimes you just get it. Riflemen continue to advance. And the other MG42 in this case actually covering up that bit. Quang making some good progress there as well. And oh dear, this is not looking good for Pivavsky's assault. He clearly had not expected that MG42, so I mean, clearly Quang's placement there of it was definitely not fully rubbish. Although again, I might not be a huge fan of it. And there we go, rifle squad actually went down for Pivavsky. That's oh nasty. And a Browning automatic rifle was dropped. The Browning automatic was an attempt to solve the problem during World War I, which basically was that the defender always had machine guns, but the attacker rarely had it, at least in the earlier parts of it, of course, which rather meant that they had attackers usually had a bit of problem delivering enough ammunition when they attacked, so several attempts at some sort of light machine gun was attempted. The BAR was one. It was actually meant to be fired while moving, which is why it's, I suppose, Relic allowed it to be fired like an assault rifle. But the concept was called a battle rifle. Basically, the Americans were supposed to walk with and then fire it. That was mostly used as a light machine gun. A few other weapons came under this concept. I believe the FG-42, the Fallschirm Gewehr, sort of was like this, could also be used like an assault rifle. The Soviets also had something like that was called the AVT-36. Turned out the rifle couldn't actually handle it, and so came the SVT-40, which was a semi-automatic rifle, because basically having it on full auto basically ruined the rifle through the recoil. So fun little fact there. Sturmarmy up for Quang, the Conqueror. Something like that, I don't know. I just felt like saying that. Silly me, I know. But progressing through the north, Pivavsky definitely getting ready for another assault. He's so far holding up alright. BARs and Panzerschreck being equipped for the stalwart SS Grenadiere. Though possibly from a rear line unit come together right there. Engineers and riflemen pressing forward. And there we go, MG42 opening up, catching that in the open again. Pivavsky seems surprisingly consistent in running into the MG42 and, you know, not quite. Oh dear, Grenadiers taking heavy losses. Running in for the Panzerschreck. I can't forget it, otherwise the Führer will be upset with me. I have never met him, but I don't want to make him sad. Pivavsky needs to get his troops out of there. They're bundled up against the wall of the cafe, leaving quite a mess for the cafe owner the next day. Ah, hell, I've got Americans stuck all over the cafe latte machine again. Damn it. Towards the Germans to clean up their messes. At the same time, engineers moving in there. Pioneers fighting against them. Volker is fighting up here. Rather outgunned by the riflemen with the BARs. And again, the MG42s rather might have, you know, benefited from moving up to support. And again, MG there, I think, would also be a good move. Engineers running into a bit of problem there. Fighting versus the Pioneers. And they are slowly losing it. The Pioneers are too mighty. Oh, that looks like one Pioneer is down. Rather than continue about there, might try to flank the Volkskriegs, although again there's an MG42 in that house. And a Nebelwerfer has arrived at the same time. Quang is tacking up. And we also see that Pivavsky's actually got a tank dive up, but Quang is tacking up. He's just gotten a Sturmarmy and a Nebelwerfer, and he's already taking up. I think that's a poor move from Quang. A very poor one, in fact. I mean, he's not fully using it, and that's actually a sort of resource waste since he's not taking full advantage of his Sturm Armory. And of course then begs the question, why even bother with it then? But Volkskriegs and Grenadiers fighting against the riflemen here. Grenades getting locked out. The Pivavsky's troops are getting pushed away with nasty casualties inflicted. Although Pivavsky's Quang, I mean, he's actually having trouble keeping the territories right there again. His forces are now heavily focused around the center, so it's actually getting very much harder for him to hold the rest of the map and actually allowing Pivavsky to sneak in and do some damage. Inspired Assault actually pops out. He's using Inspired Assault. Gott im Himmel! Of course, his troops are easier to hit, but they shoot faster and they do more damage overall. And there we go, the riflemen just getting punished, and 29 infantry kills on those Volksgrenadiers. They're true killers! Although they also like to get killed very soon. 14 on those Grenadiers. And the riflemen right here getting simply flanked. There's no real cover there except the chairs of the cafe. And cafe chairs are never known for their bullet-absorbing capabilities. But we do see Sherman arriving and getting a direct hit from the pack. The riflemen here need to get out there. They are not bulletproof either. Grenadiers with the Panzerschreck and the BAR push forward. Also, the BAR was in fact in use of the Polish army by the outbreak of World War II. Fun little fact there. For those curious. Grenadiers here needs... Oh, that's a bit wasteful. I mean, he knew the Sherman was there, so why move the Grenadiers out in front of them? And now we do see the Panzer Command going out. I mean, he's not going to be able to get anything from it right away anyways. I mean, he'll be expending a lot of resources again on upgrading for it and building up the Panzer Command. Again, he could have benefited from a few Stooks and armoured cars in the meanwhile instead, or, you know, not bother with that instead. And if he wanted artillery, There's also something called the half-track, and a Stuka-Fuss, you know, if you needed munitions, you know. Observation post. Never mind, he also has got firestorms available to him now. It just seems like Quang is expending more resources than is, well, good for him. And again, notes, I mean, he's got this whole entire area open, nothing to defend it, and again, Pivavsky's moving in to take advantage of it. And inspired assault pops for no apparent reason. Except the pioneers down here, and I'm not entirely sure if Quang just wanted them to die. You have failed the Fatherland. I order you to make a suicidal assault. Ein Himmelfahrt, Commander. Ach du lieber. Just seems quite poor, and not necessarily good for morale either. But Pivavsky moving in his German again, sneaking out to do assault from another way, which is, by the way, is a good move, but in this case didn't quite work out. Finally going out with the pioneers, losing there as well. Rifleman sneaking in there again, going for the cut-off point again. No defense of it, not even a single bleeding mine. Grenadiers and pioneers pushing forward under the support of the Volksgunners, and that really should not have been working like that. The Volksgunners and the pioneers would have been moving in. The Grenadiers should have been staying at range. Submachine guns are rather meant for close quarter combat, not for firing from half a kilometre away. Rather than moving in, pushing in. Volksgunners again need to get up closer. Rifleman looks to be pushing in towards cover. Nice move, definitely with heavy cover. They will have the advantage over the German infantry. And there we go, grenade getting lobbed against them. And there we go, Pivavsky's troops are on the run, realizing they are outgunned by the Germans. And I rather get the impression that Quang might be attempting for a Panther, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. If we're going to assume something about him due to his previous actions, which again means he's a rather passive, again, stalling player, which also means he's very likely to go for the biggest he can find, which is in this case the Panther. Sherman in need of repairs. Sherman, though, was easy to maintain and produce. That was one of the charms of the Sherman. Crew survivability was not quite one of them, although it did have better crew survivability than the T-34, which really had some problems, including the fact there was ammunition all over the floor of the T-34, meaning, you know, pretty much any shot could cook it off. Niebuhr flying in there, doesn't quite do a lot there. Rifle moving into the cemetery. And immediately getting suppressed, and coming under fire from the Volksgunners and the MP40s. The Volksgunners moving in for the kill. A bit boldly considering the Rifleman still in a there go grenade from Pivavsky, killing two of the Volksgunners. The Rifleman quickly make it out of there. Escape Grenadiers getting grenaded, but they make it. Ooh, Pivavsky's Rifleman getting gunned down as they trying to get out of the cemetery. Apparently the Grim Reaper has been positioned inside the MG42, and he does not want anyone to make it out of there alive. Also, sandbags was in fact applied by some to sort of, you know, try and provide protection, though there was some discussion. In fact, they were ordered not to do so because there was some suspicion it was actually making it easier for enemy rounds to penetrate the armor, due to the fact it might have made it a bit more, I don't know entirely, it might have actually been it might have actually made it harder for the ammunition to ricochet off the front of the armor. I believe it was something like that. Not 100% sure, but I'm not that huge into ballistics. I just follow some part of the discussion. But it was quite common for tankers to actually try and modify the tank to sort of, you know, make it a bit harder to the enemy shots to break through. Usually was bits of, you know, spare parts put up in front there. And in some cases, in fact, on Stuks, they actually poured concrete on it. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, they poured concrete over their tanks, and more in particular in front of the driver's compartment. It was apparently actually a quite common field modification. But Sherman makes it out of there once more. Rifleman coming under fire. Sneaking in from the north, going for the point. Again, a very nice harassment from Pivavsky. Rifleman pushing straight here against the Grenadiers. MG42 again once more in the church, firing away. Rifleman getting suppressed again. The cafe is looking less and less good, as the chairs and tables get ruined. In fact, there's very little left now. And I'm starting to get the impression that Pivavsky might be trying for an off-map combat group himself. More Deutsche infantry moving forwards. And 35 kills on those Volksgunners. Those are bloody damn tough ones. And they're not even veteran 2. Some of the grenadiers are doing pretty well themselves. And there we go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Panzer. Moving forward to crush the Yankees. Sherman being receiving repairs once more. Pivavsky is definitely doing a good job in keeping it alive. Rather than advancing up, going to get off their pineapple grenade against the grenadiers. And there we go. Does not quite actually deliver a kill. Still does some damage. Panther moving in there. Needs to be careful. Needs to be supported by infantry. Rather than pushing straight for the pioneers. And killing one outright.
Enemy unit down.
Victory point falling. Definitely though, Pivavsky is actually quickly draining down. He can't wait much longer. And he's clearly waiting. And again, I suspect it's for the off-map combat group. But that's a pretty bold thing to do. Panther moves straight into a mine. We do also see veterans 1 up foot, which is good. But a mine damaging the engine and definitely giving the Sherman time to escape the clutches of the Panther. At the same time, minor assault going up here. Grenadier support by Volkskriegs following up on a Nebelwerfer barrage. Definitely doing quite a bit of drastic damage to the rifle, pushing them away with heavy casualties, leaving them screaming and dying all over the grass. At the same time, another push by Pivavsky into the center, running straight into the grenadiers with the BAR, the punch strike, and the MD42. Grenade getting lobbed straight into the church. But the Lord protects, apparently. Gott mit uns applies. And the MD crew is largely alive, although they are probably not smiling currently, since they probably got shrapnel lodged in their lungs and sides. Sherman moving in straight into the Panther and the pack, clearly intent on clearing out that goddamn MG nest hidden inside the church. But now coming under fire from the Panzerkampfwagen 5 and the pack, and there you go. The Sherman is out of control. And looks like it shall now be a mausoleum to the crewmen inside the cemetery. And another Nebelwerfer arrives. Grenadiers need reinforcement. Verstärkung. Will there be any further veterans on the way? They would definitely benefit from some veterans too for Quang's infantry. Rather than might be soon be in trouble as well. Looks like some engineers were trained. Volkskriegs is making a run for the house, curiously enough. Making it easier for the riflemen to grenade them, then they quickly get out of the house. And lose 2 men to the grenade, and they're then pushed off. So that was a pretty pointless maneuver from Quang. But then again, there does seem to be some high amounts of waste going on in Quang's actions. So I suppose that's not a huge surprise. Riflemen running into the Panther and the MG42. Quickly being deterred in their further forward actions. Grenadiers fighting versus the riflemen, although the Grenadiers are perhaps not in the best condition to do so, and the best position for that matter. Quickly losing men, and a veteran 2 rifleman squad now storming forwards. More Grenadiers moving up, but the Grenadiers here then need to get out of there very much quickly, and looks like another engineer squad quickly went down just as quickly as it had arrived. It was snuffed out like candle in a storm. In this case, a German storm with lots of Nebelwerfers firing left and right. Not the best positioning of them, as they do block the main pathway right here for Quang. Not good artillery placement, or Werfer placement in this case. Rather than going to be having a straight run past the Grenadiers right here.
Germans are seizing territory from us.
Quang is holding on to the center, but that's about it, what he really can hold on to. Again, he's not really good on the defensive, which makes it even weirder that he actually wants to hold on to it so badly. Pioneers are running some serious problems, getting run off and killed. And an on-map howitzer now appears, and now apparently Pivavsky has suddenly decided to change everything up. He's going to spend all of his resources, motor pool, howitzer, anti-tank guns, the whole 9 yards. He's going to get those Krauts no matter the cost. And there we go, the MG abandons the church. Another MG gun in the house right behind it gets hit by the artillery. Riflemen quickly laying down mines before they continue the work up there. Nice move. Volkskriegs moving up there with 37 kills. I mean, those Volkskriegs are just killers. Are those actually Volksgrenadiers or are they stormtroopers in disguise? Nine, we did not do this so we could seem more impressive. And also Vet 22 now. And then... Okay, I'm still not buying it. They're not Volksgrenadiers. I think they might not be. I mean, he pretty much just, you know, tiptoed and then... Yes! Boom! Onwards! Riflemen continuing to fire away, pushing in towards the centre as well. Again, the MG42 in the church, although now the church is not really a place to be. I mean, it's soon going to be stop being a church and start becoming a mausoleum, a necropolis, or whatever. The only thing keeping it together is faith. And question if the faith is in the Lord above or the one below. Grenade there, killing out another MG gunner, and there we go, the MG crew got wiped out. Again, Quang does not quite seem to fully understand how to set up a defensive position and how to fight. Again, he's not positioning his troops very well.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory cut off from supply.
I mean, he's good on the attack, but he's terrible on the defense, which again, why would he then continue to try and defend? Panther here, they're doing quite well against the riflemen. 7 kills so far, and an armored kill. 9 kills, really taking a toll on the Yankees. Getting hit though by the anti-tank gun, sneaking forwards, creeping forwards with some rifleman support. Pioneers sneaking in there, mining. That's incredibly lucky placement of the Grenadiers, and they hit off the mine. There we go. But also an MG now, 42 equipped for the Grenadiers. More need for support, and again, I really love if they were placed a bit more sensibly and not so close to each other. I mean, there's another problem with this sort of placement. And as soon as we switch, I'll just pause and... Oh, I forgot about the mid-game analysis. Well, late-game analysis, we'll call it now. But still, I mean, the problem, I'll just deal with this again. I mean, there's another problem besides he's hogging up the main arterial roadway for him. With the Rollbahn. They're so close to each other. I mean, this is pretty much begging Pivavsky to counter artillery. I mean, one shell here could knock out both of the Nebenwerfers. In fact, they could completely ruin them. So... in several ways, this is really poorly done by Quang, and again, Quang seems to be not quite hot on the whole placement of units, not quite lines of fire, lines of movement. He's rather forgetting about the terrain a lot, which is not good. I mean, he had a good start. I mean, by the mid-game, he was quite strong, but now it's all falling apart because again, he can't figure out how to defend it all. And Pivavsky keeps on sneaking in, keeps taking away territory, and keeps on doing damage, and Quang then splits up his troops, and then, like, you know, in a bad horror movie, you know, they just get taken out because, you know, they split up. There's no deeper plan in his defense. There's no overlapping parts of it. The only thing is and this is the Nebenwerfers, and again, one artillery strike, and that's gone. I mean, the Nebenwerfers is the only thing that's keeping it together now, largely. He could also consider getting some more Panzers up for that matter. Instead, he's getting Veterans 2 now, which could also work. But I think another Panzer could also work quite nicely for Quang. Pivavsky, on the other hand, I mean, he had a bit of a rough start. I mean, some mistakes here and there, constantly running into the MG. But overall, I mean, he's flanking from several sides, pulling off some really nice assaults here and there. And, I mean, the problem, I think, was a bit, you know, the floating the resources, giving Quang more time to, you know, build up. But now he's beginning to pour all the resources back into the fight, and he's again doing quite well. An off-map combat group or 2 could possibly provide him with the sufficient forces to basically overwhelm Quang and push him off the field. But let us return to the fight. Another mine then again. A nice mining from Pivavsky. And consistent mining. I mean, he's already mined this place one, but again, you know, usually if a mine goes off once, there's nothing preventing it from going off another time. And the engineers were actually close to possibly doing some really nasty damage to the Grenadiers, but ultimately they ran away. And he actually needs to retreat those. Ritterkreuzträger actually have arrived, picking up a BAR, but they already took almost a direct artillery hit. And now we see the Spider Sword again. Grenadier guns against the full Grenadiers. Careful, careful! Quang again. It makes your troops easier to hit. You save your full. Oh no! He wasted the false Grenadiers. He wasted them. And they had 38 kills. They were true heroes of the Reich. And definitely amongst the most impressive units of this match. But I mean, Quang just wasted them right there. Absolute tragic shame. And now he's actually put up an MG42 in that building, which should have happened earlier. But of course now, I mean, Pivavsky is just firing away, probably hoping to knock it out. Further finding up here, the Knights Cross are in a terrible condition. He might want to consider medic pack to help them heal up a bit. Panther definitely needs to support them, and there we go. Walling forwards. Opening up right there. Anti-tank gun getting blasted. And there we go, the cover for the rifle is gone, making them that much more easy to target the Panther. And there we go, they're getting absolutely suppressed by the machine gun fire from the Panther, and possibly also a bit the BAR being unleashed upon them. The BARs. Artillery strike just took out the Grenadiers. Oh, goodness gracious. This is looking really, really bad for Quang. He's down to 1 Grenadier squad and 1 Knights Crossholder squad. He's lost most of his other infantry. And we're seeing more Pioneers coming out. The Panther takes another hit from the artillery destroyed engine. This is looking awful for Quang, and the rear is exposed. The Riflemen are going in for the kill, though they need to be a bit careful they don't get hit by their own artillery. And they're moving awfully close to the MG, and there we go, getting crushed beneath the treads. They got a bit too eager, and apparently somehow managed to run into the treads. I'm not entirely sure how that happens, but now the Panther is immobilized. Support will be needed. Pioneers, Achtung, Achtung, Pionieren. Panzer bist almost kaputt. More MG42s when he needs more infantry, more boots on the ground, and I'm surprised that Pivavsky has not tried to just fire one strike at this and pretty much end Quang's streams of artillery. Right there. Rather than moving up then again, getting stopped by the MG42. I'm impressed that Pivavsky just seems to keep on forgetting about it. And there you go, Pioneers are moving up to repair the Panther. Off-map combat groups running numerous anti-tank guns and more infantry for Pivavsky. More than he could possibly dream of. Panther's treads are gone, Panther's engine is gone, but the MG gunner and the main gun is still there. At the same time, assault pushing in there. Pack D crew, direct hit, clears out the pack crew. MG and Grenadiers firing away on the rifle right there. Remember, the MG only fires when the Grenadiers stand still. Grenade. 25 kills on the Grenadiers, 26. Another rifleman squad advancing up. Grenadier down. The town is barely holding up, but Quang is holding it on. He's urging his Grenadiers to keep on fighting. The riflemen take heavy losses as well. 28 kills for the Grenadiers. They are really taking a toll on Pivavsky's men. Defiantly they fire away and lob grenades. That MG is apparently doing quite well, but there we go. Finally, Quang is ordering the Grenadiers to pull out of town. Fighting continues up here. Panther is down. Knights Cross were nowhere to be seen to actually help them. Instead, they were busy taking a point. Oh, Quang, you klutz. And now both anti-tank guns are itching to knock out that building, and the MG crew hiding inside it. And again, Quang's infantry is barely existent. And barely holding the north right there for Quang. King Tiger has been apparently prepared to support. My question is, will Quang be able to actually use it fully? Knights Cross looks to be making an assault on this veteran G2 anti-tank gun. Pushing in with their Sturmgewehrs and the BAR. Rifleman pushing in, then support. And why did he Panzerfaust it? Really, Quang seems to be doing some of the oddest things I've ever seen at times. "30 kills in that Grenadier squad. That's quite impressive, though not quite as impressive on the Fuchs as on the Fuchs Grenadiers. 4 kills with the Knights Cross, not a lot of infantry, and there we go. Königs Tiger pulls forwards. And looks like 3 rifle squads are pushing in. The Knights Cross cannot hold it. They need to pull back for the MG nest in the house. Anti-tank guns continue to bombard this house literally with fire, and they need to get out of that. And there we go. It collapsed. The building fell upon the MG crew, trapping them with death. Fuel bomb being secured once more. King Tiger pulling into the town centre. No MG support. Whoops, to support now. Only a Grenadier squad. This is looking really rubbish for Quang. And by rubbish, I do mean rubbish. He's not got a lot left. He's got the need rovers in again. Oh, he's finally spread them out a bit. Finally. Grenadiers going in for the anti-tank gunners, finding away with their MG. And the K98Ks. At the same time, I'm going in, sneak in from the other side, and sticky bombing the King Tiger. Die Königstiger werden sticky bombed. And the King Tiger moves forward straight into the potential line of fire of the anti-tank guns. That is just terrible. Rifleman charging straight at the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers fighting over their MG. Rifleman already taking damage, but we've seen going to see a grenade right now. The Grenadiers were clumped up to each other in a crater, and there we go. 2 men down. The Grenadiers could go down as well. 32 kill. 30. Never mind, he's running at... Will Heinz make it? No, Heinz did not make it. He is dead. And meanwhile, the MG again fell in the north. It seems like Quang did not learn his lesson there, and now looks like he's going to be completely pushed off the map. The Nebelwerfers are pulled back to within the base, feeling no longer safe and comfortable outside. Since now pretty much all of Quang's forces are gone. His King Tiger is on its own. It's going to be an easy target for the anti-tank guns and the riflemen. Their Trinity 3 rifleman, on the other hand, might be burning up for Pivavsky. Getting hammered with Nebelwerfer fire. Burning up in the fires of righteous Germanness. It looks like they're not quite succeeding. The Pioneers up here are losing as well.
The enemy advances.
And the pack here does not seem very safe either. And there we go. Now it's actually revealed. This is getting worse and worse for Quang. An unmitigated disaster. Again, a good start, and then it just fell apart. And artillery on the packs, just in case. Wouldn't want, you know, the packs suddenly getting recruited by the hordes of infantry that Quang has prepared. Gets one of the pack crews. But this is definitely been a waste of manpower for Quang. The Knights Cross are pushing forwards, but there we go, the King Tiger is now but a wreck. A testament to the folly of Quang. Anti-tank continuing pushed away, the Knights Cross fighting from the remainders of the market square. More Nebelwerfer rockets falling down, setting the remains of the church on fire. And there we go again, he just Panzerfausts the anti-tank gun for no apparent reason. It's so weird. Oh well. Oh well. And Pivavsky was rather close actually losing this, but rather looked like again Quang's mistakes caught up with him and beat him up quite severely. Might as well speed up the ending right here before Fraps pull off some more problems. Now getting another MG and some more Ritterkreuzträger, but I believe it comes under the category of too little too late by now. And artillery getting called in on all of Quang's forces. And getting pushed off. Another off-map combat group providing a tank, destroyer, an armored car, and some other bits. And yeah, pretty much it. And game over. Quang lost again. He had a good start and then he just threw it away because again he did not quite know to hold what he'd taken and he decided not to push any further. So really some nasty mistakes there. But again, for Quang, I mean, the whole bold short-tiered one sort of worked out for him, but again he could not protect his outposts, he could not protect his MG nest because again there was nothing to support them, no barbed wire, no mines. Those were some definite lackings going on there with Quang, and it sort of just snowballed, and again some units were basically just wasted. So ultimately, I mean, really some folly going on there from Quang, some definitely not quite full picture going on from him. He wasn't quite sure how to hold everything. On the other hand, Pivavsky knew quite fully how to exploit it all, although he kept running into the MGs, which was not necessarily the best way to how to approach things, but ultimately, I mean, Pivavsky's better skills saw him through to the end. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own or provide some feedback? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.